Is the volume on? Hello?
Yep.
Very entertaining.
That's fine. That's good. You're on there. They're getting on there. Okay. Hello, Melissa.
She's great. She'll do almost anything.
Oh, good. All right.
That gets funny though.
No, I have not. I'm Vicky.
Yes, we have.
Laura. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, I was
I wish I wasn't sniffly. I would have loved to have been there.
So do I look this way?
Yeah. See, yeah. It's all good.
Okay,
Okay, I'll introduce. Do I go like this?
Yeah.
Like this? Yeah,
You're
you're
there.
there. Hi, guys. We have to get the girls to come to order.
That's right. I need a gavel or
Sit
something.
down here. You want us to come in there?
Yeah, because I didn't.
You can sit there,
Okay.
Yeah.
just to be comfortable.
Okay.
Okay, everybody, I'd just like to introduce Sergeant Phil Power of HRP and Grasshopper Studio, and he's gonna give us a session today on safety. Okay.
Thanks, Vicki. So as Vicki mentioned, I'm Sergeant Phil Power with Halifax Regional Police. I also own several local businesses, including Vicki almost breaks a hip. Right? So, for those of you who can't see, Vicki almost broke her hip.
Demonstration.
So I own a local martial arts school, and basically been doing martial arts for about 28 years, and teaching for about 22. My company has trained over 10,000 students. We have over 1,000 black belts. So we're pretty excited to be in the local community. For us, self-defense is not something that you just practice one-off. And when I do a seminar like this, I always say, I'm going to increase your awareness, but when you leave here, you are not going to be a ninja. You're not going to be able to be like, I'm going to defend everybody. You're not Steven Seagal, anything like that, right? So, Laura Croft. I do have to do a disclaimer. Number one, I'm not here on behalf of the Halifax Regional Police, so everything that I say is my own beliefs and what I believe and what I teach. Although I am a use of force instructor and I do a whole bunch of other stuff with HRP, I can't have them intermix because I am here as the grasshopper type deal. That's first. Second of all is that you are going to do some techniques today. I'm going to get you up. You're going to actually do some stuff. For those of you that are at home, you can still practice them. And you can find your significant other or even a random person on the street, bring them in and show you some self-defense techniques you can practice on, right? So the first thing we're going to talk about is just awareness overall. And it's funny because Vicki just mentioned this. Apparently to the males, self-protection and awareness doesn't really matter. Because I don't think I see one male. Is there any males
Yes,
on
there
there?
is on Zoom.
David, you're my hero. Good work. Right? So, yeah. So the big thing for I guess probably I would say 90% of all people don't realize the situation is going to happen before it happens. And that's the biggest thing that we try and teach the most about is talk about sexual assaults first of all, because that's the number one thing that happens, especially for females, is sexual assaults. So 1 of every 2 females will be sexually assaulted in their lifetime, right? So that's 50%. That's absolutely incredible. 80% of that will be from someone that they know, right? Doesn't necessarily mean that it's their best friend or whatnot, but it'll be someone that they know, a work associate or someone that's a contact through a contact, and a number of different ways that happens, right? Statistics are staggering. Out of the people that are sexually assaulted, about 10 to 15% actually come forward, right? So that's another staggering statistic out there, right? There's a number of different reasons. Obviously, our justice system is absolutely horrendous. That's probably one of the biggest things. Second of all is re-victimizing victim. And the one thing I will say is that the policing world and the justice system is changing in regards to that. We are now doing things called what's trauma-informed response. Therefore, there's specialized officers that go to a scene and they actually can communicate differently and have different techniques that when they speak to a sexual assault survivor on exactly what information they're looking for, then it goes to a specialized unit, which is called our Sexual Assault Investigative Team, and we call that the SATE team. And their job is 100%, that's all they do. right?
Yes, I was gonna say, and then of those people that do come forward, I think it's only 1% they're actually convicted.
Yeah.
So then they're victimized again
Exactly.
and again, and so that's why a lot of the women or men don't come forward. It's
Totally.
because it's for no reason, because nothing happens. And I think their past can't be brought up either, or if they, so there's a lot going on there, but
There
the more
is.
people that come forward, the
You're-
better
you're 100%
chances
right.
of it actually something happening before it becomes too late.
There's two things that people don't realize, and I always try and bring this home. First of all, if someone is even alleged to have committed a sexual assault, you go into a database. People don't realize that,
That's
right?
good to know.
So that database is actually used to look at different types of crimes that happen, find different motives, different patterns, and definitely there are people that have been convicted because of the information that's been gathered into a database. So that's one little tiny piece that a lot of people never think about, is that, hey, even if I speak up, and even if I don't want to go forward, at least if I speak up and put it somewhere, then at least this may not happen to someone else.
Right.
And that's my biggest thing as a
Right,
police
right.
officer, is like, how many times has this happened before? Because as you know, with any crime is not random, right? Here in Halifax, I always say the statistic, and again, I talked a little bit about policing world, so right? I would say about 5% of all crime we have in HRM is a random crime. Like, you don't see random crime where someone comes up and is just randomly, hey, give me your money. It doesn't happen, right? Bank robberies, all that stuff, that's not random. The whole reason why they do that is because they're on drugs, they need money. You know, there's a whole different societal issue there as well. So for us to just walk down the street and have random crime doesn't happen very often. When we talk about random crime, we also talk, normally it's you've never seen the person before, met them, anything else. And that's why sexual assaults are important, because they say 80% of all people know their attacker, right? So that kind of leads me into what we're going to talk about next, is just awareness. So in particular, male or female, doesn't matter. Going into an unknown house is a huge no-no, right, for me, right? And I can only imagine as a real estate agent, which I'm not, to go into a house that is on the market, that several people have access to, it's open for keys, everything else, and you walk in, honestly, my first instinct when I walked in would be like very, very nerve-wracking, right? So I'm gonna give you a couple techniques that can help a little bit along with that. I don't know what your company does for you. I'm a hand talker, by the way, that's from Kubaton, right? So, right? So I'm not sure if your company gives you any certain techniques or not. So the first thing is obviously before you go in to show any house or you go in anywhere, send someone a text or give them a call to say, hey, I'm going to show the house today at 1234 Waterfront Street, and the client's name is whatever. I asked Vicki before, and I was shocked that you guys don't have an actual reporting system that says, hey, I'm going to go see Phil Power, and Phil Power has to provide his license. To me, that is absurd, right? Because you're meeting random people without any information whatsoever. Because I can say, hey, you're going to meet Phil Power, but really you're going to meet Bobby Smith, and Bobby Smith is murderer, right? But we don't know that. So at least if you have some tangible information that says, Phil Power, this is an identification card, this is what he looks like, this is his home address, and this is the telephone number that he provided to me to contact me, at least that way there's something in the database that if something were to happen, you can go back and look at.
Normally we have like the fit check already done, right? We'll have their ID.
But if we meet people like a cold lead,
Yeah,
don't know.
a lot of times people don't get any information from them.
right, okay.
Yeah, and you know, that. Or an open house. Or an open house.
Open house is definitely another one, right?
Yeah.
The only good thing about an open house is hopefully you've been there first, you open the house, you've checked the whole house, you know, but then as people come in, it's the same thing. Hey, I'm here, I'm doing an open house, it's gonna be for the next 3 hours. If I don't check in 3 hours, you know what I mean, come find me. People think, oh, I'm being hyper vigilant, right? Or,
3 hours seems like a long time, sorry.
2 hours.
Sorry, I
2 to 4.
Hey, you guys be tired, I guess, eh? Yeah. How long the open houses last? I don't clue.
3 hours. Another 2 hours.
Check on me before that.
Okay. There you go, 2 hours, that's the last. Right? Oh.
I'm being assaulted for 3 hours?
That's right.
Why is no one coming?
If only I had checked on me earlier, I could have been saved. Right, so the first thing is when you open the door, right, after you send that initial text or whatnot, everyone has a set of keys, and keys these days are normally just the key fobs, right? They don't have the actual key with them. So one of the things I always suggest to get is a little tiny stick, and it's called a Kubaton, right? It's about this long, right? And it's made out of usually aircraft aluminum. And ironically, I didn't bring mine. I always do. I don't know why I didn't. And it is roughly about 4 to 6 inches. You can get them in different lengths. Some of them come 8 and 10 inches, right? But you don't need to walk around with a baseball bat. So I'm going to ask you about this, right? And when you hold it, you just kind of hold it in your hand like this, and it sticks out. The exact same thing can be done with a pen, right? A pen is a weapon, and people don't realize that home products can work very, very good as a weapon. Now, disclaimer again, I'm not saying walk around with a weapon or a baseball bat or a knife when you're checking the house, because you're probably not going to look too good. But a pen, you have a notebook 9 times out of 10 when you go in to do a show or whatever it is. So you have the pen, you just put the pen in your hand. And it's a metal pen normally versus a regular pen. And you just kind of hold it and put your thumb over top. And when you do that, it actually can turn into a weapon if you needed it to be a weapon, okay? So a little bit now I'm going to talk about legalities when you do have to perform self-defense, right? So the Criminal Code of Canada says that if you have to do self-defense, it is 100% legal, right? You can repel someone with as much force as reasonably necessary. So if I come after you and I go to push you, you pull out a gun and shoot me, not necessary, not reasonable, probably going to jail, right? However, if I come and start choking you and you fear for your life or the fact that, hey, if this person continues to choke me, I may lose consciousness, which could lead to death or sexual assault, whatever it is, and you stab them in the neck with a pen, it's actually lawful, right? I know it sounds brutal. This is one of the reasons why I have these conversations.
So don't
Right.
practice these moves with my husband.
There's no practicing stabbing anyone with pens today, okay? Just want to be very clear about that.
The
Right?
Kubaton I've seen before, it had like finger ridges almost, and it like a point.
Yeah, so you can get them with points.
The finger ridges seem good, like so it would slip.
Yeah, so almost all of them. Because it's covered in blood? What's your name again? Most Kubatons do have ridges on them, and for that exact reason. Because when you put it in your hand and it's hot and sweaty, it will slip out, especially if you don't put your thumb on top. If you just hold it simply like this, it will slide, no problem. But once you put your thumb on top, it kind of holds it down and then turns into a pressure point. I use them all the time as pressure point enhancers, right? But I'm trained with it. For you to try and find my pressure point on a 235-pound guy is not going to work. Same thing as I say, hey, I think you should punch him in the face. Not going to work. I don't care who you are, because most males, which are genetically bigger, stronger, everything else, it's not a gender thing. It's got to do with actual anatomically correct, positions of the body, right? I can generate more force with my shoulder than you can with your shoulder, right? It's just a natural thing. However, little bones and big bones don't match, right? Big bones will always win. So we will teach you today a palm strike, which is hitting with the palm of your hand. The other thing that works really good is called a hammer fist. So the hammer fist, and you can all do it now, is you just take your dominant hand, most people, 70% are right-handed, and from here, this muscle here will actually get quite hard. And if you just go like this is a very, very strong motion, right? So there are 3 things you're going to target, right? Anything here is pretty much useless, right? Especially in a self-defense situation, because that person is high on adrenaline, they're jacked up, and they're not gonna feel the pain, right? Here, number 1 spot I'm aiming for. This little tiny pocket, right, is always what I'm gonna aim for. Hands to the face, fingernails. Another thing about fingernails is DNA, right? People forget about this, right? I scratch you and I get DNA. Even if I survive the attack, guess what? Or don't survive the attack, I still have DNA underneath my fingernails, so it's important to remember. And the same goes for males, right? Males are like, you know what I mean, I'm never gonna scratch you. No, but guess what? I need something, you know what I mean? If you're trying to kill me, even if I'm a male, it doesn't matter. I'm still allowed to defend myself. And everyone thinks, oh, I have to do the old pugilist, you know what I mean? Come fight with me, right? No, that's the days of doing that are long gone, right? I can tell you now there are no fights downtown anymore, right? It's someone fights, someone pulls out a knife, someone pulls out a gun, or they sucker punch you from behind, right? It is the new norm. There's no such thing as fighting one-on-one like it used to be 20, 30, 40 years ago. It just doesn't happen anymore, right? So the big thing is that if you do happen to get in that confrontation and you do get a chunk of skin underneath your fingernails, or you're able to pull out some hair, very important, right? Hair itself does not contain DNA. It's the follicles at the base of the hair that contains the DNA. So something else to think about, right? Pardon me, sorry?
Get a good grip.
Yeah, you gotta get a good grip.
I have a question from the
Oh, perfect.
gallery. Is there anything that we can carry with us in case we are in a situation that we need to get out of, i.e. pepper spray?
This is a great question. So, any sort of irritant is illegal in Nova Scotia and also illegal in Canada. So you cannot carry any pepper spray whatsoever.
But if you're a hiker,
Pardon me?
but if you're a hiker, you can carry it.
If you're a hiker for bears, you can carry it. However, me as a police officer, I'm going to ask you, okay, you're a hiker, fantastic. But you're here in downtown Halifax, and you carry bear spray. You know what I mean? Right? Yeah. So it's unfortunate, but we actually do have to charge people for carrying a sensory irritant. Oh, absolutely. We don't have a choice.
What about hairspray, a little travel size hairspray? That would still work, right?
Hairspray, I mean, anything that sprays in your eyes is good to an extent, but I know me, I'm a pretty motivated person. You can spray me with pretty much anything, it's not gonna matter. I'm still gonna strangle you, beat you, whatever I'm planning to do.
My girlfriend had one of those Kubatons because she's got her black belt in jiu-jitsu.
Yep.
And so it's got a flat side on the end when you were talking about putting
Yep.
your thumb on. And then the pointy end is not really that sharp.
No, it's pretty rounded.
It's kind of rounded.
Yep.
But how much do those cost? Where would you buy one?
Kubatons are relatively inexpensive. They're between 10 and 20 bucks, depending on where you get them. I have a ton. I can sell some to you guys if you want.
Maybe
Right? Yeah.
brand.
Because they're made out of.
I'll put KW on them.
You guys should put Keller Williams on it and sell it for $40.
Vicki, can you ask Melissa what she thinks KW brand Kubaton?
That's right. But you can buy them on Amazon. You can buy them pretty much anywhere. They are specialized depending on what you want. Like sometimes you buy the ones from different Taiwan and China and all these, and they come and they're actually pretty flimsy. So you have to be careful because you don't want to be like, hey, this is cool. I have a self-defense item that I can use, and all of a sudden, and you're like, oh, that didn't work so well. And then now it's not relevant for what you have. We normally go with the aircraft aluminum ones. Those seem to be the best ones that we found in the industry, right? So,
Melissa says sure.
Is Melissa the boss or the marketer? Oh, okay. Good job, Melissa. Yes. The big thing that you have to remember is no matter what you do, you have to articulate why you did it, right? So one of the things that I always go with is your basic walk down the street. I'm walking down the street, and as I'm walking down the street, I notice that someone's fallen behind, 20, 30 paces behind. I don't care who you are, male or female, you have an intuition that is built into us, right? From the primate stage. You know instantly something is potentially not right. You have to believe in that instinct. If you don't, that's where most people get in trouble. They're like, and if you talk to a lot of different people that have been in situations, and especially, thousands of people I've spoken to have said, I thought something wasn't right, but I ignored it. Bad advice. You think something isn't right, you have to deal with it. So the first thing is, if I'm traveling down the street, someone's 20, 30 paces behind me, and I get that, hair stand up the back of my neck, something not quite right, first thing you want to do is you whip out your phone. Number one. As soon as someone sees a phone, they're like, another avenue to let someone know that I'm here or record or whatever it may be. A lot of people think, oh, I'm going to record this person. Bad idea. Here's why. When you record, you also can't dial, right? That's number one. Number two, you're recording someone as you're walking and panicked, and this is what they see. So us as the police look at it and go, yeah, we no identifying factors, you can't really see anything. Now, if you were stationary and you got the person, that's a little bit different. But again, this day and age, it's very difficult to identify people. They're all wearing masks, right? Or attackers normally aren't just like, hey, how are you? You know what I mean? They got the hood up, they're kind of looking, and they're focused. So they intentionally look down for a reason. It's very difficult to get facial recognition that way, right? Not necessarily just the software, but when you're looking at me, you can't see all my facial features, so therefore you can't tell that I have a bigger nose, or my jaw was stuck out, or, you know what I mean, I had a different type of jawline. All that stuff is very difficult when you look down, right? That's one of the reasons why bad people do things that they do. The next thing is that I would take my phone out and I would switch sides of the road. That's your telltale right there. You switch sides of the road, that person switches sides of the roads, I'm making a phone call right now, right? And you can phone pretty much anyone that you'd like. Me personally, I have in my phone, and you may want to whip your phones out to put this number in there right now, is the non-emergency number for the Halifax Regional Police, right? So this is what you would call if you see a crime about to happen or in progress, and that would require a response from police, and doesn't require like a follow-up or anything like this. Is like, we need to come because you deem it to be fairly important, right? If you think you're about to be attacked, it's a 911 call, right? But if you're like, hey, there's this guy following me, right, or you're feeling someone's following you, the non-emergency number, 902-490-5020. So again, it's 902-490-5020. That's the Halifax Regional Police non-emergency number. It goes directly right to our 911 center, which is located over here in Dartmouth. And from there, automatically, when you dial, right, if you dial the non-emergency number, we can still get your information. If you dial 911, we can instantly start to track your cell phone, right? So that's one of the other cool things is, hey, I've dialed, okay, now I have a record of me calling the police, who I am, and it'll give me last known GPS coordinates. Kind of important.
Oh, they get that right away, like the GPS.
Instantly.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I called it for
Noise complaints are a different number. That's 5016, right? So that's okay, don't worry, right? So now, one of the other things I would do from there is, as I start to travel and I see this person now maybe getting a little bit closer, right? And this is where some people kind of laugh and go like, "Oh, you would do that?" Absolutely. I would have my phone and I would turn, and as loud as I possibly could, I would yell, "Stop! Don't follow me!" And that person might be like, "What is the matter with this one? What are you, psychotic?" Doesn't matter. You just potentially stopped what could have happened because now you're aggressive. Passive people are the ones that get attacked, right? Very, very seldom, and there's lots of statistics out there from the Use of Force Institute that says roughly 90% of all attacks come on passive people, right? So, headphones in, earplugs, super bad when you're out in public, 100%. You cannot hear anyone that's coming. You can't hear sirens, you can't hear someone beep in the car, right? Someone could be running up behind you, there could be a car at control and they're beeping their horn, you don't see it, boom, right? We've seen it all happen, say too, right? Next thing is when you are into your music or whatever you're listening to, your podcast, you're in the zone. When you're in the zone, not paying attention to anything else. Other thing that naturally happens to the human body when you listen to music and stuff, is you look down, right? And you start to, right? So again, less observation time that I'm seeing, I'm really focused in the zone. And of course, the last thing is walk with purpose, right? So if I know this person's behind me, I'm more like, okay, my head's up, paying attention, looking around a little bit more. That person behind me already is like, oh, this is probably not the victim that I want today, and they stop you and go to someone else. You cannot control what happens to other people, right? But you can control what happens to you, right? So that's the start, I guess, the self-awareness. Going back to houses. If you come into a house, right? For me, I would obviously check every room in the house. The last thing you need to be is going into a room and someone be there, right? Or someone in a closet type deal. Now, like I said, don't be hypervigilant, but at the same time, when you go through that house, your pen or your Kubaton, whatever it may be that's in your hand, right? And kind of walk through, and at the same time, you've already sent your message, people know that you're there. And you're just like, this is kind of your de-stress time too, because as you're going through, you're a little bit more ramped up. Once you're done, you're like, perfect, everything's okay now, I'm good to roll, right? So it's kind of like a step process that you do, and the more you do it, the more comfortable you become, and the less stressed you will become. And the number one thing that paralyzes people is stress. I'm going to tell you a quick story. It was a personal experience from a friend of mine that told me about it. Him and his friend were on a bus. They're at the Halifax Shopping Center, right? They were both French speaking, they were speaking French back and forth. A group of kids basically said, shut the fuck up. Stop speaking French, we're in Canada, blah, 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 right? Yeah. This is now a hate incident, by the way, just by that, right? So from there, they're like, okay, we're gonna get off the bus before these guys get off the bus. So he says to his friend in French, let's get off at the next stop, right? As they pull the cord type deal, because back then you had to, pull the ringer, he notices that one of the guys stands up and says, hey, this is my stop. So they're like, holy shit, right? Instead of 6 of them getting off, the only one's getting off. So the one person gets off, They come, they get off the bus. As soon as they stepped off the bus, the guy was next to them, waited and smashed and knocked out cold one of the guys, right? Other guy, who's a friend of mine, stood there and didn't move. He said, I was paralyzed, right? And he said he got on top of him and just started bang, 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 and started to smash him. He's like, I was 5 feet away from him. I couldn't move. I was literally paralyzed. He's like, he came to and started yelling my name to help him. I didn't move. That's when he started martial arts, right? Because he said from that day forward, I knew as a 16-year-old kid that he could have killed him. And I had absolutely nothing that I could do, and I was paralyzed with fear, right? And that's what they say is that fear is the number one thing that will either motivate you or cause you to totally succumb, right? So, with that being said, right? If you were going to use an object, a magazine is a phenomenal household tool to use as a weapon. A magazine, a rolled up magazine. It is so hard, it turns into a baseball bat. And the spline on it actually turns into like a mini knife, right? So things that people don't think of, but if you had a magazine in your hand and someone were to attack you, if it was rolled up, you can actually hit them, just like a Kubaton, right in the top of the nose. And it'll knock someone out cold, right? So a few areas that you would target if you were being attacked, right? Whether it be with your hand, with your fist, with a weapon, whatever it may be. This is number one. Here, that's number two, right? The temples, you cannot condition the temples. I could be a 500-pound bodybuilder, I can't condition my temples, right? It's where the brain is the closest to the surface without any other type of bone in the way, right? Here is a bad idea. Everyone thinks that I'm going to go for the jugular, I'm going to go for the clavicle notch, I'm going to do all these things. It doesn't work. I can bull my neck like this, and you can smash me as hard as you want in the neck, and it will not affect me, right? Exactly. Same as like grab and hold and pull and everything else. When you're bulled like that, you're in that adrenaline, it's not going to matter, right? I cannot condition my eyes, I can't condition my temples, I can't condition my testicles, right? Okay. Yeah, the groin is the number one spot you should be looking for, right? Yeah, 100%, right?
We all know what that is.
And it's true actually, even for males. Males have a very big thought process of, I can't fight dirty because I'm a man. I can't fight dirty. No, not this day and age. I need boom right up to the groin, and it's so quick and easy. Drop you in a heartbeat, right? Now there's like 1% of the population that does some funky things, they tuck them inside and everything else. Those are the real deviants that it doesn't matter what we do, right? So yeah, right? We're not going to worry about that. Yeah, we just skip right. Don't ask questions. I'm telling you, don't ask questions. Yes, right? But it happens because everyone thinks, oh, this will always work. No such thing as always. Always will not work always, right? So that's why you have to think of what are my different options. Clapping, right? Clapping the ear, you can bust the eardrums very, very easy. People forget about that, right? One hand is better than two, because with two, I'm more concerned of I'm trying to get them. But if you clap like this, and just take one hand and go crack right up the side, it will bust your eardrum. A busted eardrum does two things to a human instantly. Causes my equilibrium to be off. So all of a sudden now, I'll start to do like this. I can't even walk correctly. The next thing is the excruciating pain that comes with it will often make people flinch and recluse like this. So when they do it, they'll go like this. That's your opportunity to get away, right? Anything to do with self-defense is normally 1 second and gone, right? We don't stick around. After that 1 second, we're the heck out of there. And no matter how we can do it, we're getting out of there, right? Those are some of the techniques that I'm going to go through today to try and help you out just a little bit. So we're really only going to learn 4 or 5 techniques today, right? The open hand this way, right? We call this a palm strike, right? And the palm strike also turns into your clap, right? Next thing here is I'm going to close that fist, turn it into hammer fist. I'm aiming right here, hammer fist. Back of the neck works. Again, I'm a pretty strong guy. If you start hammering me in the back of the neck, it's not going to affect the whole bunch, right? But if you start hitting me here, it's going to make a big difference. The big one is hammer fist right there. Right? So you can go this way, up, and you can also go either sideways or down, right? Because the most common ways that females are grabbed, number one is a hand grab. Hey, right? They grab hold of you and try and give you that pull. That's number one, bad, right? And again, what you do, vocal, right? And you could be in a group like this, and someone grabs hold of you like that, you're like, hey! All of a sudden the whole office goes, what in the Jesus is going on here? Right? You know what I mean? Like literally. But you have to have that aggressiveness to you. And someone might go like, oh, that's just Billy's crazy. Right? Oh, well, that might be the case, but I'm alive and I feel good and my personal space is not being violated. Right? So that's the first thing. The next thing is that you have to recognize that you're in a situation you don't want to be in. You have to consciously take that switch and flip it to say that I am not going to be a victim today. That's what you have to say. Right? I am not going to be a victim today, and no matter what, I'm getting out of this situation. There are some spots out there that teach really be very passive. Oh, it will go over everything else.
I'm not going to that class.
Yeah.
You belong there.
But I'm from Cape Breton.
That's true. And in case of those of you that are at home that didn't know, me and Susan actually went to school together, so I know what she's like. Right? So, that's the biggest thing. And then from there, when you fight, you have to fight dirty, you have to fight quick, and then you leave. Right? So I know there's different techniques on what works the best, what doesn't work the best, what if they get me like this, what if they get like that. There's 101 things I could teach you today, you're not going to remember any of them. Right? That's why I picked literally 5 techniques that work the best, that should be able to try and help you save your life, get out. One of the things I do teach at the end, I'm not going to teach it today, but it's a little bit on what if they pin you to the ground and you're on the ground, right? Personal space, COVID, everything else, we kind of don't do that. You partners, and normally I have a male partner that comes with me, so you also feel comfortable mounting me and stuff. You know what I mean? But there's techniques that I can show you really quickly, right, on how to get away from some of that thing, right? Last thing that we're going to talk about is when you do fight, what is your purpose of that fight, right? My purpose of the fight is to stop the attack. It's not to kill them, right? It's articulation. You can't say, yeah, I want to kill the guy, right? Let's take it back here for a second. Someone grabs hold of you, you don't want to kill them, right? You want to stop the attack, right? So if it's a grab, you want to stop that person from grabbing you. That's the articulation.
I hope it's like when somebody grabs you, you twirl towards their thumb.
Yes.
That's the weak point.
Yep. We're going to practice that. It's one of the techniques. Yep, absolutely. So one of the things that
You, her fiance.
yeah, that's pretty good actually. Yeah. One of the things I used to do a lot was I used to do seminars, and the seminars would have 100 people, and I would pick the biggest person in that seminar, and no matter who it was, this big huge guy comes up, and I'd be like, grab me as hard as you can, and they'd be like, sure. Boom, and you're like, whoo, that's hard, right? And the same technique will get out every time, right? There are a few things that you can do to make it even stronger. Two-handed grasp is really, really strong, right? So when you grab hold of your own hands, right? And then we're going to practice those techniques, right? So that being said, we're going to get into the physical part. So stand up, come on. A little bit harder for you guys at home now that it, And you guys can come in here, like don't feel shy, right? We're gonna all be personal with each other. So come on right in.
You're not gonna get that.
She's very excited, so
She took glasses off, she's ready to roll. So the first thing is the palm
I took my
strike.
shoes off, just so you know.
Whoa.
Did you say something about high school? You're gonna be worried she's gonna come out?
Okay, maybe, I don't know, but I saw a lot of things back in high school and junior high, so, yeah. So the first thing is the palm strike never wants to be flat like this. Because if you think about the human body, this is a bad angle. Anytime that you have a bend to your body is bad, right? And anytime you have an extreme straight angle is normally bad. So everything wants to have a slight angle to it, but not an extreme angle. So 90 degrees is an extreme angle, right? So from here, if I push, this is actually going to hyperextend a little bit. It doesn't work so well. So what I want to do is I want to use what we call the horseshoe of your hand. This outside is the most strongest of your hand to the base. So what I want to do is I want to push straight like this. You're going to try and come up to the jaw, or you're going to come right to the side of the nose, right? So from here, you got to think about a stance. So if you're right-footed or right-handed, you're going to step back a little bit with your right foot. Yep. So all you're gonna do is take this hand and go straight in, just like that.
So are you going at an angle?
I go on a tiny bit of an angle, because if I go straight like this, it's gonna go straight like that, yeah. So just here and straight. Now, in order to get some power, everyone always uses just shoulder, and that's it, yeah. You wanna take this hand and pretend like you're gonna grab that person and pull them in, and now watch what I'm gonna do with my hips. Turn. Yeah, that's your maximum power is gonna come out. Well, instead of just doing this one, you're I do have some power jokes still. So this is a padded kicking paddle is what it is, or striking paddle. So it's made with foam. If you hit it, it's pretty easy. I hit sometimes it's on top of my head with it, right? So it's right? Yeah. These are great at home. Someone does a little whack. I said take out the garbage. What you're gonna do is actually we're gonna form a little bit of a line. And what I want you to do is try and hit this just like that, and you'll feel the impact. When you hit it, I'm gonna reinforce it. I want you to push it though. Like don't just be like this and then push through. I want you to strike it as hard as you can. Very sideways, right? Well, Will Smith's slap actually would have been perfect if he had hit him inside of it. Because the way he opened his hand and then popped it would have been perfect if you're trying to burst through, right? I personally have some thoughts that was not a random event. If you keep your hand totally flat though, you want to cup.
Oh, how do we turn up the volume?
Volume just got really low. Can hardly hear.
Okay. I don't know how we turn this up.
Something must be blocking.
Yeah, get her.
Nothing changed.
Might be us all talking at the same time.
Can you hear me now? Or is it better or worse?
No, can't hear you. No. Oh, she's going
She's
thumbs up.
saying
She's
up.
up and the other ones are going no.
Blocking the mic.
Can you turn it up, Kayla?
It was low before, but it seems to be okay now. It is hard when everybody's talking at the same time.
Sherry, that is a very good point. You have full ability to say, everyone be quiet, right? Where's the boss? Melissa's the boss. Yeah, she's going to say that. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're just going to come to the center. You make a straight line. And I want you to try and actually hit this target with a little bit of force.
Go for it, Joy.
Go ahead, Joanne. Yep.
Okay.
Bring the joy.
That's why I hold over here, not here. That's it. Now, keep coming, keep coming. I'm going to show you a couple tricks.
Step back.
Yeah, no, you're supposed to do the thing. Don't do what I did.
Thanks for it.
Okay, I bet too much.
Oh, yeah, that was a good one. Oh, yeah.
All right, good. Awesome. So y'all made it through what? Did anyone here feel that pressure on your hand? You're like, that didn't feel so good?
Yeah.
Back there.
This is why. Most of you forgot again and went a little bit too straight.
Yeah.
Okay? You want to hit almost with this, like I said, that horseshoe right here. So you have to angle. Because if I come straight in, that's going to hurt. The other thing is that most of you were starting way too far back. Right? Your power band is really close.
Oh, okay.
You have to be able to reach out and touch someone with that front hand. If that hand is farther than what you're going, that's your maximum wrench, right? You don't want to stretch that far. So what you need to do is you need the target right here. And this picture, if my hand can go to the back of your head, I'm in the perfect position, right? So reach up now with your hand and try it again. I want you to try and a little bit less straight and a little bit more off to the side. Right?
Okay, Joy, see if I can do this time.
I'm going back to staying in my basement with my nephew.
Yeah.
See the difference? See the difference?
Yes.
Now stop, come back again, that was really good,
Okay.
but you're too far. Can you grab hold of the back of this target? There you go, now drive it through. Yeah, but drive like, just drive.
Give her,
Give
give
me
her.
Yeah.
Give her.
That's
Okay.
I do that 4 times.
Oh, good.
2 maybe. Imagine your guys right there and hitting them in the jaw.
Come on, Susan. There you go. Nice. Oh, very good. Okay.
So always nice to
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, she's Killer. That's her new nickname, Killer in the office. Okay.
Shoes on too.
So what I teach a lot of people is everyone's hand is different. This doesn't feel great for everyone, right? This, no pain, no anything. This is my go-to, right? So this is a hammer fist. You're gonna come down and try and hit me right on the bridge of the nose so that your hand literally fits right on the inside, just like that, right? It is so bad.
Like, it makes me cry,
Instant,
like,
right?
instantly.
So I'm gonna hold the pad this way now, and you're gonna come down and gonna hit like this. 2 common mistakes. You hit with your forearm, or you hit with your pinky. We never wanna hit with our pinky, right? Remember, big bones, little bones. This is not a bone. This is what I wanna be hitting with, that part right there. All right, so I'm gonna hold this way now, and you're just gonna come straight down. Oh, that was good, that was strong. Good.
I do better that way.
And get set in a good stance when you come up there.
That's
Boom,
more.
there you
There you
go.
go, Joe.
It does.
There you go.
No.
Whoa! Oh yeah, there you go.
I didn't really.
Oh, yeah.
That's it. Okay, now come through again. Now this time what I want you to try and do is instead of kind of reaching forward like everyone's doing, I want you to try and keep your center of gravity here and literally again, reach up, boom, hammer it down, like you're gonna hammer an actual hammer, right?
So I'm kind of stomping.
Yeah, like you stomp it into the ground. Oh yeah, very good. That's it, much better, much stronger actually. Good. And there's no limit to how far your hand can go back. Oh.
Oh,
That's gonna attack me. I'm gonna
you guys were what you
I
said.
Good. Now the last point I'm just gonna make on this one here, okay? Anyone here hand hurt on that one?
No.
Okay, so there's a difference between this, which takes technique, and this, which takes no technique.
Yeah.
Okay? So
Definitely.
the other thing is that a lot of you are like this, like, right? You know what I mean? Take that hand right back, like open that shoulder up, and when you open that shoulder up, bring it right through. So instead of just going in this motion, I'm in my back. Even if you need to like really like pull it, almost like you're pulling a bow and arrow, right? So from here, and then go straight down with it, right? And you'll notice a huge difference. So we'll come through one more time.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, look at Sherry go.
Oh, totally different. Oh yeah, way better, much stronger, much stronger.
Channeling my inner Sherry to
Well,
the
get some props to Sherry on the
See
screen
her
there.
up
She's
there?
killing it.
Good job, Sherry.
Oh yeah, way better, way better. Oh God.
Seriously?
Susan doesn't like me.
No, like, if someone's gonna attack me, I'm gonna make it good.
That's what you need to. Oh, that's good. Very good. You're like Superman punching. Very good, very good, very good. Okay, relax, that's good. All right, so that's the technique that I want to try and hit on the top right here on the nose. Another spot that you could hit is here on the clavicle. It's okay, but it's not great. But the biggest one here is also coming from this way now, coming up and hitting in the groin, right? You can grab, right? Number one.
I have to say, like, I feel what you said with telling the story about the guy freezing. I do think because of your adrenaline and everything that's going on, what you're talking about, even getting your mindset of like, I am going to get out of this situation, makes a huge difference.
100%.
Like, cause you literally, cause I think about this happening and I'm just like, I'd be frozen, but however say, I am going to hit you.
Totally.
Like, and that's
Yeah.
what I say to myself, like, I'm gonna hit you.
And that's what I want to hear.
Yeah.
Because this, you know, there's a famous saying, right, by a guy that I won't go into, but in the policing world and in the use of force world, right, the body can't go where the mind hasn't been.
Yeah.
So if you haven't thought about it before, your body will not do it.
Right.
It will not, it's impossible. But if you rep it in your mind, hey, if I get attacked, I'd be like, oh hell no, right? Something's just gonna change. I am not gonna be a victim today. I'm gonna lose my mind and this is what's gonna happen. I'm gonna claw the eyes out, I'm gonna smash, I'm gonna do this. I remember that hammer fist, right? And then I'm gonna grab hold of the eyes and I'm gonna pull them out with my fingernails.
Yeah.
That's what you gotta remember,
Good
right?
affirmations.
That's
Yeah.
what's
Yeah,
gonna happen,
for sure.
right? Ears come off like paper. People forget this. right? You can rip an ear off, literally, you can rip an ear off with about 10 pounds of pressure, right?
Really?
So, I have done it. It's not pleasant, but it's painful instantly, and then they forget about it. So it gives you that 1 little second of reprieve to get out of there, and that's it. Because after that, then they lose their mind, because now they're like, oh my God, what just happened, right? So, but paper ears come off really, really easy. So that's the other thing. Remember, you have options, right? Eyes, nose, ears. That's what I'm going
Groin.
for. Right? Groin.
Don't forget the groin.
Don't forget the groin.
I don't think
Now,
we'll ever forget the
the groin is next. That's what we're moving to now,
Yeah.
right? So the next thing is I'm going to show you 2 easy techniques. The first thing is a front knee, and the other one is a front kick, right? The kick, I don't care how you put your toes. Realistically, because I don't want my foot to hit you in the groin, I want my foot to almost come right to the back. So if this is my foot, hitting here is just okay. I want to actually like that, and lift that person up. You don't want to go too deep though. If you go all the way down like this, what will happen is it stops by my legs, right? So you want to try and get the end of your toes. So there's 2 ways to do it, and I can show you either way, whichever one you're comfortable with. The first one is to curl your toes back, and like when I teach the kids, I call it my T-Rex stance. You know what I mean? So at the ball of my foot is what I'm using to snap right into the groin.
Can you move further towards the screen so it can see you? Thank you.
This. Okay, so the motion is very, very, very easy, right? So you're back with whatever leg is dominant, right? You're gonna bring your knee up, and you're gonna push that foot forwards. So it's just like this, up and forwards, right? So come on in. Yeah, come in. We're all gonna try this together.
All right.
Now, don't kick the person in front of you, right? So basically just stagger yourselves, and we'll all kick to the center. So from here, you're gonna be in your fighting stance, we call it. From here, I tell everyone to bounce up and down. If you bounce up and down and then pause, this is your natural stance, okay? Your interview stance, your I don't want to fight stance, or your fighting stance, whichever one it is. If you're really deep like this, you can't get any power from the back, and this is come kick me in the groin stance, right? Like it is open. So from here, you want to push with your back foot, lift your knee up, and snap your, perfect, just like that. So just do it in one motion now, back, right? Yep, you got it. Now you can land toward the target, or you can kick and then land and then try and take off. The only problem is after I kick, I don't want to let my foot stay and never land. Because now I'm on one leg, I'm like a flamingo, I'm gonna get knocked over. So as soon as you do that kick, bang, I want to put it down as fast as I can. Get out of there. Right?
And then run.
Perfect! Exactly. Right? So kick him in the groin, he bends over, whack on top of the nose, off you go.
And then
here. There you go.
Don't stick around.
And then I'm
gone.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Phil as the police officer will be asking Janice, you hit him how many times? And when did you leave?
Yeah,
Well, I took this course.
He asked you for a cigarette and you killed him. So again, from your stance, now the other thing I'm just going to show you really quickly, and this is not fighting, but this is self-defense, right? So from here, you take your hands and you put them up in front of your face. So I call this looking through the forest, right? You don't want to have your hands so far in that now I can't see you. You can see how this looks really, really bad, right? But if I open my hands and just give you enough space to look through, whatever foot is forward, that hand is going to be closer to the target. The other hand's going to be back to be my second protector, right? So what's going to happen here for a lot of people is as they come, Susan, I'm going to use you this now, right? As I come, now I have a decision to make, because if I go straight in, she can easily just deflect and strike and do whatever she wants, right? Or she has her hands out like this, and I try and go outside. See, it's a lot easier, right? So with the hands up, it makes it so that she is less of a target right off the bat, right? What she wants to do is I'm just going to adjust her a little tiny bit. Shoulders back, oh, see? Now, I've taken away all of her vitals. The human body, and humans, is one of the only species in the world that has all their important stuff in the front and externally normally in their body, right? So everything is just out there. You look at all animals, everything else, there's so much internal, and that's why they can curl in really good. Everything for us is right out in the open, right? So what we want to do is bleed ourselves a little bit to get less of a target, right? So as you do that, one hand up, and then now, just here, straight, boom, kick. Good. So we call this a front snap kick because it's supposed to snap. So I look up and snap it. Boom. There you go. Nice. It's actually pretty good. Yeah.
He's there, you're gonna hurt somebody, Johnny.
Yeah.
So those kids, no, Joy's old and so's her name. It doesn't work as well as everybody else's.
So I'm going to show you here. So this is just one of our pads. So I'm just going to hold it like this. And all I want you to do is literally come from underneath and try and kick the pad. So I'm going to start here. Go ahead. Perfect. Whoa. Right. Perfect. That's it. Good. 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 Excellent. Do you want to try it? Awesome.
See, I have no.
Now, what everyone did was they wanted to hit the pad. So in your mind, psychologically, you said, I'm going to hit that pad. And you went, quick. And this is what happens in self-defense. I'm going to kick them in the groin, and I'm just going to tuck them in the groin. No. Your foot is going to lodge into their stomach. That's what, again, the mentality part is. You need to get your foot to end up in my belly, right? So you're going to do it again, and you're going to try and really launch right up, right? Get right up there. Oh,
yeah.
See the difference? Seriously.
I
From
grew
the
up with
video, do you
brothers.
see the big difference there?
I was the only girl.
Yeah, right. Yeah, wow, Jesus. Right? Oh, yeah, totally. Way better. Totally better. Yeah, yeah. There you go. Nice. Excellent.
I can't do that. That's not gonna work for me.
Nope. Now, the last point I'm going to make on this one is a lot of people try and lift their knee, right? I do not want to lift. I need to push. It needs to be an explosion from the big toe up to the knee and then pushing the whole time. So you never want to lift and kick. You want to push, right? This is the last one that I'm going to give you, and I guarantee your power will then double like it's already doubled before. So now you're going to
Uh-oh, be careful of her.
4 times. Push it. Okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's it. Excellent. Good, now lean into it. Lean right into it.
You guys have to go.
There you go. That's it, yeah.
Yes.
They've got Blundstones on, that's even them
Totally.
better to have for
Yeah, really.
attack.
I was gonna wear
Yeah.
Docs.
I don't wear high heels to open houses.
Yeah.
So that's your front kick, and the last one I'm going to show you is your knee, right? So that knee comes up. Now, the knee is personal, so I'm going to get close to you, right? What I want you to do is I want you to grab hold of me by the shoulders. And you're going to pull me and knee me right in the groin, right? This is my groin, not here. Right? Be very clear, right? I did a self-defense demo once, and I was talking like this, right? And I'm like, yeah, I want you to knee me in the groin. As soon as I totally wasn't ready. Right? So yeah, wait till we're ready. This is the pad, okay? So you're gonna actually physically grab hold of my shirt. I want you to physically grab hold of my shoulders, and I want you to pull and just knee straight up. So as if you're gonna pull my shoulders down, and the knee goes right into the groin, right? If someone is too far back and you pull them, you can still hit them in the chest, right? So don't forget, any target is better than no target at all, right? All right. No. There you go, good. Oh, there we go, that's it. That was really good. Good, yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Jen, when Jen does it, she's gonna pull your shirt over the head. And then she's gonna uppercut you.
So that was good. Now, 2 things I'm gonna show you.
Your wallet should be out the door.
Female grip is not even 1/10 as strong normally as a male grip, right? So from here, I want you to actually now grab a hold of the back of my neck. Okay? Right? I did this on purpose, right? So it's a progressional technique. First thing is people grab hold of my shirts. I've had my shirt come right off, right? Like people pull my shirt right off. I've had people rip it. You know what I mean? It's perfect. That's why we're a golf shirt. Don't worry, right? So now I want you to grab hold of the back of my neck, and if you want, you can close your hands over each other, right? We suggest not to interlace the fingers because it's bad, right? Grab hold of each other like this, right at the base of the neck. I'm not sweating or anything, which is good, I think. Right? So go ahead, try that. Oh yeah, totally different. Yeah, totally different. Oh yeah, very good.
good.
Nope. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's really nice to us.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Yeah. Oh, come on, Vicky, you can kick that hard.
Oh, I can get her.
Oh, very good. That was your best one, yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Good.
Mine was a little weak.
So, did you feel like it had more power?
Yeah.
Or less power? It has more power. It doesn't feel like it until you become proficient in it.
Yeah. it
Right.
doesn't feel
You're
as
also
natural.
pulling the
Not-
person
well,
down.
Maybe I should say, none of those should feel natural.
I hope not.
But
Right.
it but you know, how you have to get in, it definitely is more intimate.
That's right.
In terms of, because your instinct is to run,
Yeah.
but what we're trying to do is to get closer to
And
be
this
able
is the
to-
reason why, right? So, who wants to be my demo?
That's me.
Jen.
You want to be? Okay, come here, Susan. This is what's going to happen.
Yeah, years.
I really liked him. Made me laugh. We didn't fight.
If I'm going to attack her, I'm not attacking her from here.
Can you guys
Coming
go
from
sideways so they
Yeah,
can
so
see
this
on
way.
the camera?
So 9 times out of 10, the attack is going to come from the side, right? It's not going to come from the front. If it does come from the front, 2 things are going to happen. I'm going to instantly go for the neck, right? That's what happens. Or I'm going to go for the grab here, right? Either one puts me so close that you need to be in this position. This is the only way, because as my hands come up like this, your hands come up. Nope, you can grab hold.
Okay.
Look, boom. See how easy that is?
Why are you coming from the side? Why are attacks from the side? What do you mean?
Because I don't want you to see me, right?
So I'll be
So
walking
you're
down the
standing
street
here,
and you're
and
gonna
I'm
come
like,
and grab
hey,
me?
boom, that's exactly. But did you see what she did first? She turned right into me.
That's
So
where
she
I'm
turned
going
right into me.
every time.
Exactly, right? And that's what I want. I want that turn right into me because she's gonna try and pull away. If she tries to pull away, whoa, right? If she tries to pull away right off the bat, just try and pull away, like go away.
Yeah, he's.
Yeah. And then now, as a bad guy or a girl, I'm actually gonna go like this and then put her to sleep, right? Which is bad, especially for females, right?
I'm gonna claw your eyes out while you're doing it, just so you know.
Yes, you are gonna, yes.
I'm multitasking a lot.
So the last 2 techniques I'm gonna show you are the hand grab and how to get out from that strong hand grab. So as I grab hold of her, there's 2 things she has to think of right off the bat. He's way stronger than me,
Yes.
right? And how can I get out of here without causing more trauma, right? Distraction is always first. How do I do a distraction? Yeah, step on the foot, try and knee me in the groin. Right? I grab a hold of you and you try and knee me or bring anything up,
Yeah.
right? I go like this. I forget about my PowerPoint, which is here.
Yeah.
I personally love fingers to the face, right? So I grab hold of you. Yeah, perfect. I'm like, ah, and then I forget right here.
And then what am I doing? Am I trying to
So,
get it?
yeah, so 2 things to think about. This thumb is the only way that you're gonna get out of this. You're not Superman, you can't go through the back of my hand. But you're only able to get out this way. So, we are claw, now grab hold of your own hand. Your own hand.
Oh, Jesus.
Go like this.
Pull it at the thumb.
Like I'm awesome. Right. Yeah. Now pull straight up. I'm gonna grab
Away
hold
from
of
your
you.
thumb,
Yep,
away
I'm
from
gonna
your
grab hold
thumb.
of you tighter.
Yeah.
I'm gonna grab hold even tighter.
I'm still gonna
Now,
get out,
even
Phil.
tighter.
Yeah.
See how easy that was?
Right?
I'm pretty strong.
Yeah.
She's.
But
you can
I'm thinking
even
of your
hear me.
thumb.
Yeah, you can even hear my thumbs
Yeah,
clicking
very
together,
good.
right? Because she pulled so hard that my grip, and then boom, it collapses, right? So thumb is what you want to look for. It doesn't matter whether you go inside or outside, but I want you to make like a mini circle with your hand. So slow motion, if you grab hold of me, what I want you to do is grab hold like a clasp and then just make a circle, right? See, it doesn't matter which way I go now, does it?
No. No.
See? Slowly circle. Now, use your body to get down lower, twist. Never like this, right?
No.
Everything is too straight, no power. Drop those knees, make a circle. So now you're gonna go with partners. So you're gonna grab a partner. You're gonna grab.
Nobody wants to go with Jen.
There you go, perfect.
So what are you?
So you're gonna grab hold with one hand first. So I'm gonna show you 2 different techniques. So the first technique is what happens if the person's strong but not super strong. So when you grab hold, most people never grab over top, by the way, right? When they grab hold of you, they grab hold like they want to grab, so they're gonna grab like that.
And her grip is harder than yours, by the way.
Oh, sure. No problem. Look at the thumbs, and how do you gotta get that out? Grab hold of your own hand, pull it to you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do I use you?
How are you?
Oh!
Alright, okay, right, so I'm gonna grab you. Okay.
Let me go lap.
I was like, oh, that's good job.
Give me your hardest.
That's really good.
So now, grab hold of your own hand.
Oh, right.
More, you woman.
Like that, right?
Excellent.
How are ya?
That's hard.
So you want to try and
Do you mind being in the
shake
picture?
your hand. So you shake your hand. Shake your hand.
Because you have two girls.
Mark's gonna be like.
No, you can go wherever you want.
It won't matter. Okay, yeah, all right.
Okay, now I'm gonna show you the next technique. You don't want to be able to look and go like, you don't want to look and be able to say, okay, is there a thumb on the inside? Is there a thumb on the outside? What if it's this way? What if it's that way? So now all I want you to do is clasp your hands literally like this. When you do that, I want you to twist your body and pull. Just like you're gonna like pull like a baseball swing almost. Just pull.
That's what I felt like when I was coming out of her. I felt like I was like teeing off.
Exactly, that's what you want to do. So instead of trying to be like, oh, I'm gonna flip around this way, because this is not a natural motion for the arm, there's no power here. What I want to do is always go to the inside like that. So from here, inside, right?
We'll get all that
Yeah,
stuff
go to your
on the
power,
perfect.
right? So go ahead, try one more time, but this time clasp your hands, really try and pull. Go ahead, do that.
There.
Your class.
Neither one of us can get free because we're both. Like, come here, you. Sister.
And see how you pull down?
Do that.
Yeah, whatever way you want. Whatever way you're strong side.
Oh, yeah, we do. Okay, so I'm not here. We'll do it.
I thought it was like that's level 2.
What if they have two hands?
Whoa! So if they have two
Which
hands,
side do I go
lift
for?
straight up to your face. So if someone's gonna have you two hands, straight up to your face.
Grab it here, right here.
This girl, she's gonna use. Oh my God. Okay, now. We got ourselves all red. Wow. Oh, about 4 more. Fill in the chat, 2 attackers.
It's really turned on my back.
If that was happening to you, my friends would be, and I would be more, maybe a little bit more strength than I actually have with my adrenaline.
Real mad about it.
All right, the last technique I'm gonna do for you guys is what happens if you get the choke, right? Someone starts to physically put their hands around, right? Yeah, so it's very difficult because obviously number one is if I know what I'm doing, I can put you unconscious in about 5 seconds, right? 5 seconds is not a lot of time. That's number one. Number two is the fact that when I come at, it's gonna be so violent and aggressive, it's gonna jolt your body. So when I grab hold, you're gonna be like that. So it's gonna take you off balance, right? So you're not gonna have an ability to really be like, oh, and the first instinct is I'm gonna grab hold of my neck and I'm gonna try and pull your fingers and all this other bullshit that doesn't work, right? It does not work, I'll tell you 100%. You have to be a super trained martial artist in order to get out of those.
So I'm not hanging out with around people who are gonna grab me by the throat, so I just don't like
That's
these
the
places.
point.
Like, I don't like this.
I know, I don't like it either,
I think I'm
right?
canceling my Saturday.
So when I grab hold of you, it's very simple, right? You can go one hand or two hand, it's totally up to you. I prefer one hand, because I put one hand straight up in the air like this, and put it as tight as I can to my ear, and I swim away. called the swim technique, right? So you're going to turn, whichever arm goes up, you're gonna turn to the inside, not this way. And here's the reason why. Can I use you for a second? If I go like this and she puts her arm up and twists that way for me, no, that way.
Just
See?
He goes into it.
But if she goes this way, see how easy that is? Be careful of your thumbs when we practice. I don't want to put the thumbs around the neck. I want to put the thumbs here right now just for practice technique. And the reason is I want you to put your thumbs here first and go slow. And watch what happens here with the pressure. I'm going to turn so everyone can see us in the camera. Right there. Now go slowly for me. Slow. Stop right there. Right here, this is locked in. Now she's taken this and locked my wrist in. As she continues to go, she's going to break. Right? Right here. She can actually. So up and swim. Boom. She's got to move her whole head. She's taking She's leaving. She's leaving. Yeah, leaving right out of there. Yeah. So see how she didn't move her foot though? I want
go
you
with
to
your foot.
take that foot,
Run away.
step it right over. So up. Yep. She gets this nice low stance, like I'm really gonna kill her.
Just say the word.
Yeah. So try this with your partner. You can try two arms too. That way you don't make a mistake on which side you want to go. So go ahead. Try.
All right.
That's right.
Don't use your thumbs.
Yeah, see?
Okay.
Let's watch it be
This
different.
would be
Not being too-
Yeah, okay.
I'm coming right into you.
Yeah, and then she's just gonna pull you in. Awesome.
I mean,
You can really feel that.
Oh, normally.
Oh, yeah.
You both came up and was like, oh, I was like,
We stopped before it got too serious.
So did you see how that works?
Yeah.
Works very, very well. Right? The same thing goes if someone were to pin you with their forearm.
On the ground.
Yeah, no, on the wall. So if someone pins you with, I call this the kissing pose, right? So they pin you on the wall like this. I don't know if these guys will be able to see me, but they pin you on the wall like this, and this is how the hey, I know you like me, blah, 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 right?
So what do you do? Flick your
From
arms up
behind.
too?
Arms up, and you can roll to the outside, and you'll still,
amazing.
still
So
works.
that's more effective?
Oh, absolutely, in that position, right? So it would be easy for me, right? Oh yeah, bang, roll.
Love it.
Right? So you combine the couple of easy techniques.
These are all really good tips for when you're standing, but what if you're down?
Like I said, there's a lot of things we can get into on the ground, right? So the ground is very, very difficult, like a very difficult beast, right? The first thing is called arching or bucking my hips. Because 9 times out of 10, someone's actually going to mount you. And when they mount you, it means that your legs are going to be this way, and I'm getting right where your groin is. Doesn't necessarily mean right now I'm going to sexually assault you. It means I'm pinning you down to be able to do whatever, right? So that's the biggest thing, right? Is that when I pin you down, if you buck your hips, does anyone want to? I'll show you. If someone wants to show you, I'll do it easy. You want to do it, Susan? Back up. Junior high, Susan.
So you want me to pin you down?
Yep.
Okay.
Perfect. Now.
But see, I would put my.
Exactly. So she go like this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my legs and I'm gonna arc like this. And what I want to do is I want to push my groin to the ceiling as fast as I can, like that.
Throw her center of gravity up.
All that's done
I
is
don't think my
cause.
hips can do that though.
All you're trying to do is buck her to get her to lose balance. That's what next is. Then you're gonna look for a tabletop. You're gonna try and grab an arm and you're gonna try and roll, which is very, very difficult, especially if you were 100 pounds and I'm 230 pounds.
Right.
That's why there's so much that happens on the ground that's bad, right?
Yeah.
This is the first technique. The other technique is that if you get on top of me and pin my arms like this, which is one of the worst poses ever, right?
Yeah.
From here, I want to take my arms and shoot them sideways.
Jesus.
All right? Next is I'm going to bite her lip off. Yep, I'm literally grabbing the head, I'm pulling it down, and I'm biting the lip off, I'm biting the ear off, I'm biting the nose
You're
off.
not very
Whoa.
nice.
Right?
I feel bad for your wife. Well, he does have 4 kids.
Wow,
So does that make a little bit more sense?
Yes.
Yes, for
So
sure.
this here is an entirely different session that would take at least
Yeah.
constant
Those are good tips, though.
protection.
Those are
Yeah.
good.
So-
We could have saved one of our lives or someone else did,
Yeah,
so
right,
we're
so-
here today.
And the bump of the hips when you're on the ground is really important because normally the guy doesn't go right between your legs first. They'll mount you first, they pin you down. That's where, you know, they're trying to take clothes off, undo buttons, everything else. That's your opportunity. And again, I know sometimes I sound really brutal on what you're gonna
So
do.
pissed off.
But you're literally, the other thing that I always say to females is, let them kiss you, right?
Oh.
And then
Because
then you
as
can
they
bite
get
their
close,
lip off.
and you bite their lip off, or you bite their nose
Or
off.
their nose.
That's why we've used the grab hold of the back of the neck, pull them in, right? Believe me,
Make that
when you turn into the dog in the fight,
Yeah.
people don't want that anymore, right? But you have to remember, that's your timeline of violence. You just started that huge aggression,
You gotta finish
you
it.
gotta get the hell out of there, right?
Yeah,
Because
you gotta finish it.
Jen's like, no, Jen missed the whole class. We did say leave, get out of this situation. Not finish it, Jen. That's not what he said.
Jen's gonna need some anger management after all this.
Lets anybody go downstairs
First.
She never goes downstairs
Upstairs
first.
first.
The
Yeah.
client always goes down first.
Oh, I do that too.
Yeah,
Me
because
too.
she said if it's
No one's
somebody
coming
you don't
behind
really
me.
know well, they get you
Nope.
from behind.
yeah, they
Or
push you down the
just push you
stairs, they
down
grab
the
hold of you from behind, they grab hold of your
Yeah.
hair. That's, you know, there's other techniques that we do too, like if someone grabs hold of your hair, how to get out.
I always
lot
wanna
of
see
things.
people, so I let people go into a room before I do.
Yeah.
Totally.
I want them.
I thought I was just being kind. No, after you.
Yeah, that's good.
I always say, you go first.
No, and those are all like you guys are now in a different level, even from when I just, you know, saw you, I can see you kind of like, oh yeah, right, so you know what I mean, you're taking those steps, which is exactly what you want, right, so.
So I have a question.
Sure,
So do you do adult Taekwondo classes?
I do, so we're specialized in family, that's what we do the most of, is family.
Okay, well, we're a big family.
Yeah. Yeah, and we do, like, just for instance, like, if there's enough people involved, sometimes we'll do specialized classes. So on Saturdays, I have some classes that come, or like a group of police officers come. We only do police techniques. We don't, no public is allowed, that's it, right? Then we have another one where we do a women's self-defense group where only women are
I would
in it,
love my
only
teenagers
self-defense
to
happens.
see, my teenagers,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Yeah.
my what kind of programs available for them, or how do I get this for them?
So this is part of our everyday techniques,
Right.
right? So like we incorporate these into what we practice over and
I was
over.
gonna say, but what if you just wanna go through the different belts?
Yeah, that's what our program does. Now, we have a specialized program like this where we teach just, you know, brutal, you know what I mean? This is awesome.
Yeah, that's really fun. I think that's what I would be more interested in.
Yeah.
I don't need the belts.
No, and a lot of people are like, hey, I wanna get in shape, I learn how to kick, and you know what I mean? And I learn how to
The getting in
block.
shape, the core thing too, like it's a big core workout.
It's a huge core workout.
Without
right?
thinking
I'm
about it.
fat right now, sorry about that.
I don't have to like.
Sometimes when you teach too much, because then you're like, I used to do this all the time, right? So, yeah.
But the thing is, it's the repetitiveness too, like for me, this I have to get used to doing that. Like,
Totally, yeah. And
just practice it a couple times, but then it becomes.
if you don't practice it,
Show
though, it's
Chris-
not
Yeah.
second nature.
Show Chris what you learned.
Judo
See how long it takes?
Chris has some belts in judo, he can take.
is fun too. Any questions from anyone before we sign off?
A question about, typically, you know, most of us aren't super tall. I'm not overly overcome with height. When you're trying to do these moves on somebody who's a lot bigger, so I can see where some of these moves would work, but like that hammer fist idea, I think I'd be quite challenged to come down on someone's nose if I can't even get to their face.
The groin.
That's why you're gonna go to the groin, right?
Talk to me.
And still, being challenged, sometimes the groin's up a little higher than my knee will get. So, okay, so I'm just trying to,
Cherry, go for the groin and bite the nipple.
oh, there we go. Good,
I think we're the same height.
yeah, I think so. I think so.
Jerry, those are really good
Things
questions.
going through my head.
That's exactly what a lot of people ask is, hey, I'm too short, or I'm too fat, or I'm too tall, or I'm too skinny. All of these things can be adapted really quickly, and that's why it's always nice when you have someone in person. And when we do courses like this, I'll bring in someone that's 6'7" and have them grab hold of you and see the difference. It's way different, right? So because you're different targeting systems right off the bat. You're right, and that's a great point. I'm never gonna go hammer fist to someone that's 6'7". You know what I mean?
Or on my husband.
Right?
Yeah, practice on
Yeah,
his
right.
Here's a question.
Oh, I'm good now, but thank you. I'm always looking for good Yuki. Right?
I I always heard the elbow is really strong. And I'm
It
like
is.
surprised
Elbow
that
is super
I
strong.
didn't see any elbow technique.
This is the reason why I don't teach elbow techniques right now, right? Elbow techniques require so much practice, right, that people don't know how to effectively do them. That's why we show the hammer fist. Elbow works great. Again, super close, right? If I'm super close, you're right. I'm gonna go elbow here or elbow back, right?
Right.
So those are the techniques that we show in a little bit when we have longer time, everything else. When we do a short one like this, which is about an hour, hour and 15, we usually pick our main 5 and then we go from there, right? So the hammer fist is really, really, really effective, right? And you can still do it from in tight, right? So hammer fist though is normally like we have a little bit more space. If we're in tight, I want to try and grab hold and bite something off, rip something off. That's really what I'm focused for.
That's the goal.
Right? Yeah. Right? Because if we're in tight together, you're not going to have enough force. And normally if we're in that tight, it means I've already pinned you, I'm holding on to you, something. So it's hard to get that rotation. It's hard to get those hands in there, everything else. If you're looking to try and, claw the eyes, grab hold, pull the ears, pull the nose.
Your inner animal.
Yeah, it's got to come out. You know what I mean?
Feral.
So,
Bring out
yeah,
the feral
That's it.
qualities.
You know what I mean? Yeah, right? So.
That's great.
Yeah.
Thanks,
else?
Phil.
The feral
Thanks,
kids.
Phil.
Nice.
Appreciate it.
All right, nice to meet you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Haven't high-fived somebody
That's
in so long.
I know, it's been like years. So. Thanks, everyone.
Oh,
I think we should get a picture.
Oh, yeah, get a picture, sure.
that'd be good.
Yeah, I did. Jan, you guys want to be in a picture?
Yeah. Can you turn that off so we don't get recorded, so I don't say anything illegal?
You in the picture, would you mind taking a photo? With all
I am going to, how do I stop recording?
Hit end.
And down the
these?
bottom.
We could have them in the picture too.
Well, that's true too. They have to
Yeah.
take a picture.
You guys be in the picture.
And,
Hello.
or we got a picture, okay.